Well, hey guys, I was just chatting with my Elite Street Team members, which is also known as the Jaded Support Group. They had their hands on an early copy of the Arcs of Jaded, and some of them were a little bit of an emotional wreck. So we formed a support group, and now we are socializing and doing all sorts of really cool things in there. And I was just chatting with them, and we decided I would jump on and do an Ask Me Anything and just kind of hang out with you guys. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm super glad to see you guys as you're popping in. If you have questions for me or comments, go ahead and hit those up. And I will get those answers for you. But I also want to let you know that we are less than a week away from the release of Jaded, which is my brand new series, the first book in the Jaded duology, and it releases next Tuesday on June 27th. I'm super excited for it, and I would love to invite you to listen to my puppy dog. She's having a little nap behind me. Lacey! Hey. I would love to have you join me for my launch party. You can access that and save your seat at jadedlaunchparty.k.m.robinsonbooks.com. We have prizes, we've got giveaways, we've got contests, I've got party gifts for everybody. We've got some really cool games we're going to be playing. Adult coloring sheets may be involved. I'm really excited for this. And we've got some other really cool things. So if you are interested in my dystopian romance, amazing novel that has been breaking hearts and causing people to have emotional support issues and necessary to have a group for it, I would love to have you join me. jadedlaunchparty.k.m.robinsonbooks.com. And let's talk. Let's talk about what you guys want to talk about. So what is it that you would like to hear from me aside from my puppy dog, who is behind me currently taking a nap? Just so you guys are aware that weird noise you may or may not be hearing, you're definitely hearing that. That's my puppy dog. We have chairs with really high rungs, and she likes to put her head on top of those rungs and then sleep, and so she's making a little bit of noise there. Lacey! Hey! Thank you! That's gonna be a full-time thing, I think, unfortunately, during this broadcast. I frequently do live broadcasts, and I leave my dogs downstairs, except for certain times when I know I have guest stars on, and sometimes they get a little close and they snore on camera, which is kind of fun. Golden and Jaded question: if the cast of each book could be a mythical creature, what would they be? Oh, that's a good one. Okay. Mythical creatures. Well, I'm really sorry about my puppy. Okay. You know what? Let me grab her. Sorry, babe. Okay. If they could be a mythical creature. Gosh, this is really hard because I'm not super familiar with a lot of mythical creatures. I am a huge fan of things like unicorns. Do mermaids count as mythical creatures? Because I feel like Jade would definitely go toward being a mermaid if that counts as a mythical creature. I bet two of them would probably be cool with a phoenix, because, rising from the ashes, so I can see that for Illyria. I can actually see that for Jade, too. Unicorn, definitely, for some of them, but I am terrible at this. Griffin, unicorn, dragon. Oh, Berwyn Bear would be a dragon. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, he would go for dragon. And so would Eden, probably. Let's see. What else? Mythical creatures. I am not the best with mythical creatures. What is it called? The ones from, well, it's not, I was gonna say, I'm trying to think of the Chronicles of Narnia, because I know they have a lot of mythical creatures in there. But the half human, half horse thing, that'd be kind of cool. I'm not sure. I don't know. Ask me other questions, because I don't know much about this. Griffins are in there. Yeah, yes. Oh, and a centaur. Yes. That would be Lowell. I feel like Lowell would go for the... Wait, what's the difference between a centaur and a minotaur? The minotaurs were less evil. So then Lowell would have to be a centaur. Centaur. I don't know how to say that. Fun times over here with Katie, who doesn't understand the fantasy realm. Fun questions. Yeah. No, I feel like if I had been prepared for this in advance, I would have really good answers, but I don't. A bull is bad and centaurs were peaceful. Oh. Whatever, I don't know. I have no idea. It's a good thing you're here to educate me. You're sorry. No, you're not sorry. You're not sorry at all. If you were sorry, you wouldn't ask me things like that. You're evil. That's why we make a good pair, because we're both very evil. Oh my goodness. For those of you who are wondering, I do have a very put out puppy over here who's not happy I took her chair away so she couldn't sleep on it. What other questions do you have for me? Anything that has to do with Golden, anything that has to do with Jaded. Big news, we should be having the printed copies of Jaded arrive soon-ish. Theoretically, they are coming from the printers, but, we had a couple of hiccups along the way, so unfortunately they're not here yet. I had actually intended on them being here like a month ago, but doesn't always work that way, so hopefully soon, hopefully before the release of Jaded, which I'm really excited about. But let me know, what other questions do you have about Golden, about Jaded, about writing, about life, about the brand new platform update on Instagram. For those of you who don't know, I educate authors and book bloggers, booktubers, book reviewers over on Reading Transforms. You can hit that up at Reading Transforms on Instagram. And I educate on all of these different social media things that are going on within our world. And they have that brand new update, which I'm super excited about, where we can share our live broadcasts, which is what you're watching right now. So if you were hanging out with me on the rebroadcast, you can see that they allow us to add our live broadcasts over as stories, which is really, really cool. You can find out more if you go over to my Reading Transforms platform at Reading Transforms. Next question, if your Golden cast had supernatural powers, you are trying to make this difficult on me, aren't you? If your Golden cast had supernatural powers, what would they be and why? This is another retelling of a retelling. Ha 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 ha. I see what you're doing there. Okay. So, if my characters had supernatural powers, Dove would probably have the power to heal. Illyria would have the power to be invisible. One of them would have the power to fly. I really don't know which one. Eden would want superhuman strength. I know she would. Berwin and Lowell would probably love the power to read people's minds. Or even maybe read people's minds or to manipulate people into doing it. So like the power of suggestion, something like that. I feel like that would be really cool. Silas would probably grab a hold of the power to make people fall in love or whatever, something like that, because he's a little matchmaker. Rayla would probably have something really sweet and lovely. I'm not sure what she would have. She would have the power to grow things, like plants and stuff like that, to kind of like bring life to things. I think that would be really cool. So, there you go. Powers for my Golden characters. That actually was not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. What else do you have? I'm seeing, Dove. Writing question. Do you use a fancy program or just a simple Word or Google Doc? I just use Word. Yeah, I don't use anything fancy. I know a lot of my friends do have some programs. I have not even looked into these programs. Quite honestly, I don't know the names of these programs. I know they are there. I know they exist. But I spend my time researching social media stuff, so I can handle any social media questions, but as far as these writing programs that these people are using, I do not know what they are. My bad. Yeah, I definitely use just a Word doc. That's it, just a Word doc. I used to, when I was teaching, I used to have to type on my iPad while I was at work during my lunch break. So while my students were at their lunch, I would have my lunch break, and then when they were off to their special, I would have a prep period, and I would sit there on my iPad and just type away in whatever app I was using, some kind of document app, and then I would have to go in and copy and paste it and either email it to myself or use iMessage, I'm not sure what it is, on the phone to send it to my phone, which I then sent to myself and added it to my Word doc. So it was kind of a complicated little process, but I definitely go with the basics for that just because I haven't invested any time into researching that. To aspiring writers, what is your advice and encouragement? Also, what are some pros to indie writing? Okay, my advice to you is to write. Make the time to write, make it a priority, because if you do not make it a priority, and you do not invest the time to research, you are working at a hobby, and a hobby doesn't make you money, and there's no point in you doing it. So I've seen a lot of authors who do not research how to market. They don't spend time with their fans. They don't invest their time into social media. They don't understand the publishing world, and they do not succeed because they are not spending time researching and putting their effort into this. So take the time to really understand who your audience is, who your publishing people are going to be. Do not just jump into it assuming that you can get a deal just like that and that they'll take care of everything, because publishers are not going to take care of everything for you. They're just not. Their job is to sell your book for them. Their job is not to market you as an author. It's to market your book. So you have to build up your own brand. You really have to take the time to invest in that, and you got to do your research, and then make sure you've done your research. Have professionals in your community that you are working with and learning from to make sure you don't end up in a bad situation. I've seen far too many authors just jump at the very first book deal that they've been given, and it's been a really bad situation. So take the time, make publishing lawyer friends, make marketer friends, make editor friends, make friends in the industry who are industry professionals and industry leaders that can educate you and guide you and help you make really good decisions, because you could end up in a really bad situation. In fact, I have definitely been offered a couple of different book deals, and they would not have necessarily been the right fit for me. So I was very, very adamant about making sure it was the right fit and making sure I trusted the professionals I was working with. And I had this one particular situation that would have been an incredibly bad situation. I had a whole number of my friends get involved in this, and they suffered for it. They're still suffering for it. But because I kind of had some alarms go off and I didn't jump into it, but I also had my professional friends on my side confirming that this was not a good fit for me, I was spared a whole lot of grief. So don't sign anything until you have a publishing lawyer look it over, even if you have an agent. A lot of these publishing lawyers will do it for free too, and on a sliding scale. So if you have a smaller book deal being offered to you, it likely won't cost you anything. And if you are working with one of the big 5 publishers, their cost to you is going to depend on how much you are being offered as an advance. So it's a sliding scale, and they get paid if you get paid a higher amount of a, not a bonus, but the word that I forgot, advance, the advance. So don't sign anything. Make sure you have professionals in your pocket to help you out and really build you up, and then do your research and build things up, and then just make sure that this is a priority for you so you're not treating it like a hobby, because if you're treating it like a hobby, you're not going to make any money, and then there's no point in doing it. So there you go. That's my advice. Pros to indie writing: control. Control is really, really good. So the smaller you are working with, the more control you tend to have. And as long as you know what you're doing, you're probably going to do better and you're going to make more money. So yay that. The downside to that is that you don't get the marketing reach that you would with a bigger publisher. So as long as they are a bigger publisher and can offer you things you can't do on your own, then it's a cool thing to do. Jump into that. That's fine, as long as you have a lawyer look it over first and you're confident and comfortable with what you're doing in that contract. But otherwise, if you can handle yourself, guys, indie is awesome because you make a lot more money, you get more decisions, and really it's up to you how well you succeed. Illyria and Jade are similar. What are some similarities between Dove and Roan? And they've got the little sideways crying emoji. Let me grab some water. This is because I talk too much. This is like my 5th live broadcast today, so bear with me here. Okay, similarities between Dove and Roan. And you are right, Illyria and Jade are very, very similar. They are cut from the same cloth, and I love that about them. But Roan and Dove are interesting characters. So both Roan and Dove are men who are trying to take care of their families. They have people over them. Roan has his parents, and Dove has his brother and sister-in-law, who kind of are in charge of their family and their group. So both of these men have people over them that they have to be respectful to and responsible to, and their jobs are to take care of their families and their community. So Dove has the group that his brother runs, and Roan has an entire society that his father is the commander of. And so both of these boys have to make hard decisions and have to sacrifice to take care of the people in their lives. And that's something that's really interesting about them. And they both go about doing it in very different, in yet similar ways. They are very, very devoted to their people. They're willing to risk whatever they have to take care of their people. And maybe it's not always what they want to do. And definitely they suffer for it, but they're willing to give of themselves to take care of their people. So We know that Dove frequently suffers because he has to take the brunt of his brother's anger, and he has to take a lot of pain and physical pain on himself to kind of protect people, and he's always running in and doing these dangerous things in very dangerous situations to protect people. Roan kind of has to sell his soul because his father has sent him on this mission to kill his new wife. And Roan doesn't want to kill Jade, but he has to protect his family and his people. And so he kind of has to give of himself and give up a part of himself and do something he knows he doesn't want to do in order to take care of his people. So a lot of similarities in what they do, but also very drastically different because they go about doing it in very different ways, and they have very different ways that their heart are. This is not the word I'm trying to say, but they have very different, no, I still can't get it. It's very, very different the way they go about doing this, and they're going into it with different motives, but they both have to get there eventually. So they're very similar, very different, and I feel like if they ever met up, they would have some things to say to each other. I feel like Roan would definitely really respect Dove, and I feel like Dove is definitely going to have to do a little educating for Roan because Roan's not making the best decisions. If the cast of both Jaded and Golden had to work in today's society, what would they do? Well, that's a good question. I like that. If they were here in our contemporary modern society, what would they do? Gosh, it's a really good question, and I'm not even sure if I've got an answer for that. So, Jade, I can answer Jade. Jade would definitely be an entrepreneur. She would definitely be someone who develops her own business, and she runs it from her home, from her everyday life. So Jade would do something like open up a bakery, or she would do an online educational school. She would do something kind of creative that she could do from home that she could then kind of work around her schedule. So if she has other things she has to do, that's okay. If she eventually has a family, she's got something to support that family, but she doesn't have to do it 24/7. But it definitely brings in income for them. And she would definitely be very strategic about that because she would be planning well in advance to take care of her for the rest of her life. And she would definitely be someone who creates her own kind of business to support herself. Roan would definitely do something on the artistic side because we know Roan is very artistic. I would say he would probably end up being like a photographer, or he would do some kind of like architectural design type thing. Definitely something where he can be creative, but is a little more structured than maybe what Jade would be doing, and a little more consistent in how he was doing it. So I definitely see him working in architecture and design, things like that. Or politics, of course. We know that in the story he is a politician, so that is definitely something he would do, but he would not necessarily be like our current politicians. He'd be like the really good one that we all actually want. Let's see, Dove and Illyria, as far as what they would do. It's a little bit hard. That is a little bit hard. Dove would probably be in some kind of work where he could really help people, so maybe education. He might do some kind of like community service type thing. He might do some kind of social work type thing. He would definitely want to be hands-on with people and really making a difference in their life. So whatever he could do to build up society and build up humankind, that is where we would definitely find Dove. I could definitely see him doing some kind of like Doctors Without Borders thing or something like that. So that would definitely be Dove. Very selfless, very giving. And very, very adamant about taking care of people and improving society any way he can. Illyria, I almost want to say, like, at the end of her story, like, when we get to the very end, when she's through with all of the drama that she's going to go through, assuming she survives, I kind of want to see her go into education. I feel like that would be really cool. And I feel like, and this is kind of weird because I have never thought about this before, but I kind of feel like it would be cool to have this parallel between her and the character in Once Upon a Time, that TV show, who is Snow White or Mary Margaret, and how she was kind of a teacher, and then she finds out she's like this epic Snow White character who's always saving the day and taking care of people and saving Charming and all of the people, and just this really strong, powerful woman who at the end of everything she goes through, she just wants to give back. She wants to work with kids. She wants to be an educator. And I feel like that's kind of along the lines of where Illyria would go, assuming she makes it through the Golden Trilogy. Because she has to go through an awful lot. So I'd love to see her in education, but I can also see her kind of creating her own path. She is very highly trained, so I mean, there's a lot of stuff she could do. I kind of can see her doing some entrepreneurial type stuff, but not nearly as much as Jade would be. But Illyria would definitely find something to get out there and kind of oversee things and be in charge of things and help people out and really raise them up. So I can see her working side by side with Dove, where Jade and Roan would definitely not be working together. Yeah, but Illyria and Dove definitely work together. And then, of course, Berwin and Eden, I mean, I can see Berwin kind of in politics. He would definitely be some kind of leadership role on something. He'd definitely be in charge. So fun times. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. I think we're going to wrap this up because we have been here for a little while and I wasn't really going to stay on super long. But these were great questions. Thank you so much for hanging out. Oh, Smarmy. I'm sorry. Did I not answer the Smarmy question, what he would do? I mean, I don't want to, give anything away, but Smarmy's a politician, and he will always be a politician. That's who he is. He will always be a politician. I can't even picture him doing anything else. I know that you're sitting there thinking, he should fix motorcycles or something, but the answer is no. He is a politician through and through. Yes. Sissy's here. She's like, we need to put him in leather and just let him do something in leather. I'm like, no. Politician. Let's get him in a suit. Fun times. Anyway, wrapping this up. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm K.m. Robinson, author of the Golden Trilogy and the Jaded Duology, and I really appreciate you hanging out with me for this live broadcast. If you're watching my rebroadcast and you have something to say, hit up my DMs. I think it's in this corner. I'm still learning how, whether or not it flips me or not. But I appreciate all of your DMs because I love talking to you guys. I love hanging out. So if you've got questions, if you've got comments, if you want to hear more about Jaded or you want to hear more about Golden, hit up the DMs. Even if we haven't talked, even if you're brand new, even if you're just getting to know me, I want to hear from you guys. So feel free to reach out. We can talk about my books. We can talk about books in general. We can talk about life. We can talk about writer things. We can just chat and hang out because I have a ton of people I just hang out with over here on Instagram. So hit me up. Let me know who you are, what you're doing, what kind of books you like to read, and let's just talk and be friends. You can find me on social media at k.m.robinson books on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. I do behind the scenes and all sorts of fun things and a lot of live broadcasts. And I also have a really cool party coming next week. Tuesday, June 27th, we are releasing my brand new series, The Jaded Duology. The first book comes out next Tuesday. We're doing a live broadcast launch party with games, giveaways, prizes, party gifts, contest, which I said, I think, live reading, live question and answers, and all sorts of really amazing things. There may or may not be an adult coloring sheet involved, plus some other really cool games, and a little bit on the fashion-y side, too, because Jade is, you guys, okay, let me fix this real quick. I'm going to add, Jade would definitely be an entrepreneur, and she would definitely do her entrepreneurial thing, but she would also be one of those, fashion people, because fashion is really important to her, and she creates 2 different dresses in this story that are really important to the storyline, so I can definitely see her being a couture dress creator, or being some kind of, stylist, fashion guide type person, which would be really awesome, so there's your little bonus for Jade there. I hope you will join me for the party. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do some really cool things. I'm going to give away some secrets and share some other things. She would be a Project Runway contestant. Probably. She wouldn't be a contestant, boo. She'd be a winner. Project Runway winner. That is the way it works here. So yeah, I hope you will join me for the party. jadedlaunchparty.reading. Nope. jadedlaunchparty.k.m.robinsonbooks.com. I hope you'll join me. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got a lot of stuff going on, and it's going to be awesome. Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would love to have you there. It's going to be about an hour long, and we're doing some really cool things. We got some really cool people and giveaways. I'm giving away books, guys. Giving away books. So come join me. jadedlaunchparty.k.m.robinsonbooks.com. And I will see you in our next live AMA. Thanks for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. You guys have a fantastic day, and stay inspired.